Sarah Tillo, a reporter at SC Magazine, and today I'm joined by Harold Moss. He is the CTO of Cloud Security Strategy at IBM. Hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good. So today let's talk about cloud. And so we hear over and over again that security is the #1 inhibitor to organizations moving to the cloud. So tell us what they're concerned about.
Well, obviously, we just did a study recently, and the big concern people have is around privacy. So 77% in that study found out that privacy was the biggest concern. 50% were concerned about data protection and integrity, and 23% were concerned about the adverse effects on the network. But as we talk to customers, what we're hearing are a wide variety of things. One thing we've heard from customers recently is a concern about geolocational concerns. So data moving outside of country borders and being exposed to new regulations.
Oh, wow.
A lot of organizations struggle with that because the benefit of the cloud is you have this expanded audience and utilization and efficiency. At the same time, you have these increased risks such as geolocation. So now I may be affected by German privacy laws, for example, whereas I might not have been before. Another area we hear from customers is around this concept of compound service providers. So as I negotiate a service level agreement, I need to think about making sure that when I contract with you, I really contract with you. You don't outsource it to another vendor who outsources it to another vendor, and I lose control. It doesn't happen a lot, but there's a strong concern in the industry about that.
So we'll talk about some more best practices in a bit, but I wanted to ask you, this market, the cloud security market, is still pretty new. Where do you see it evolving in the future, keeping in mind that right now a lot of organizations are still worried about the security of moving to the cloud?
Okay, well, one, I think the tools that we apply today at the enterprise apply still. Inversely, I think you're going to see a greater shift to security as a service. The rationale being that organizations can work more efficiently, smarter, better, faster, without the capital expenditure or operational expenditures. So if you think about deploying technologies such as security event log management, it's hard for a lot of small organizations to handle that because they don't have the resources to actually apply security across their business. I came from 9 startups. In that role, I worked at a lot of companies where you'd have one person responsible for all the network, all the security, and all the compliance. That's a lot of work for one guy to do, and to know all that data. So if I can go as a service and get those same capabilities and reduce the pressure on that person, it's a huge benefit to those organizations.
And do you think that ultimately it's going to be the cloud security, or I'm sorry, the cloud services providers who will be responsible for building security in?
No, I don't. I think much like regulations, security is a responsibility of the person who's using the cloud. So organizations need to understand that as they move to the cloud, they still maintain that responsibility. And as you look at the regulations that are affecting some organizations like healthcare, it's very clear they're not transferring that responsibility. Security still remains the majority of controls in most regulatory bodies.
I think that's an interesting and important perspective, because we're hearing that a lot of organizations are pushing cloud services providers to build more security in, but what you're saying is ultimately, even if that happens, the organization is still responsible for their security.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying, but I'm also saying that as those people build the clouds and the hosts, they do need to have adequate security for their infrastructure. So if your infrastructure goes down, even if you build security around your app, you still have a challenge, right? So the issue is to make sure that they're building security into their infrastructure as well, but you still maintain that responsibility.
Okay, and then let's just round it out with some best practices for organizations who are moving into the cloud today. What can they do?
Okay, so as IBM's explored the security space, and we've looked at it for a while, we've got 20 plus years of cloud experience, 40 plus years of security experience. We took a really close look at cloud security last year, and what we found is that this concept of one size fits all, which is permeating the cloud space, doesn't really apply to most customers. So customers need to look at a core set of controls to protect their clouds, but they also have to start to look at the context and what they're doing in the clouds to apply appropriate security for those type of things. So one of the things we tell people is this concept of secure by design. introduce security up front, because for you to see the value of the cloud and the efficiency and cost savings, you don't want to apply security later, because that starts to boost your operating expenses up again. The second thing we do is we tell them to focus on what they're doing in the cloud. So customers who do collaboration have very different needs than our customers providing healthcare data. And they want to apply a focused, concentrated security around what they're doing, not around this concept that one size fits all. And then finally, we tell customers that they need to look at the opportunities in the cloud. So we talked about services earlier. Taking advantage of these services that allow them to defer out or hand off responsibility in a way, or leveraging technology and skills that they may not have with these services.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for going through all of this.
Thank you.
And thanks to you for watching. Have a great day.